The world was on the edge of its seat, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. St. Peter's Square in Vatican City was flooded with people from all walks of life, gathered together in a sea of excitement. Their eyes were fixed on the balcony of the Vatican, anxiously waiting for a moment that would change the course of history. Pope Francis had just passed away, and the Catholic Church was at a crossroads. The decision on who would be the next leader was now in the hands of the College of Cardinals, a group of the most influential church leaders who were meeting in secret to make one of the most important decisions in the Church's long history. The entire world was holding its breath, waiting to see who would step forward as the next pope. Inside the Sistine Chapel, the cardinals were gathered, away from the world's watchful eyes. This was a moment of prayer, reflection, and deep contemplation. The chapel's awe-inspiring ceiling, painted by Michelangelo, seemed to watch over them as they prayed for wisdom and guidance. The decision they were about to make would not just affect the Church but the entire world. They had to choose a leader who could guide the Catholic Church through the challenges of the modern age, someone who could unite people, inspire faith, and bring hope in a time of division. It was a monumental task, one that would take the utmost care. As the days passed, the world waited. People whispered about possible candidates, but one name seemed to stand out: Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Hailing from Manila, Philippines, Cardinal Tagle was known for his humility, his deep faith, and his commitment to social justice. He had started from humble beginnings, working in some of the poorest neighborhoods in Manila, where he dedicated his life to helping those in need. His work had earned him the respect of many, not just in the Philippines, but across the world. His compassionate nature and unwavering dedication to fairness and equality made him a beloved figure in the Catholic community. Outside the Vatican, the excitement was palpable. People gathered in St. Peter's Square, waiting for any sign that the decision had been made. The tension was almost unbearable. The crowd fell silent, holding their breath, waiting for the moment when the smoke would rise from the Sistine Chapel's chimney. For days the cardinals had deliberated, but now the world was waiting for the signal that the next pope had been chosen. Would it be Cardinal Tagle? The anticipation was almost too much to bear. And then it happened. A puff of white smoke rose from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause. The Vatican had a new pope. The ancient tradition was now complete, and the world was ready to find out who would lead the Catholic Church into the future. Cardinal Jean-Claude, a senior church leader, stepped forward and announced in Latin, "Habemus Papam," meaning, "We have a pope." The name he uttered was one that would forever be etched in history: Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. The news spread like wildfire, and the excitement was felt across the globe. Asia had its first pope. In the Philippines, where Cardinal Tagle had grown up, the celebration was nothing short of extraordinary. The news hit like a tidal wave, and the streets of Manila erupted in joy. Church bells rang out, filling the air with their sweet sound. People spilled into the streets, dancing and singing with joy. It was a moment of pure celebration, one that united the nation in pride and happiness. Fireworks lit up the night sky, bursting with color and excitement. It wasn't just in Manila. The entire country felt the thrill of this moment. Even in the smallest villages, people gathered together, waving flags and celebrating this incredible achievement. But the joy wasn't confined to the Philippines. From Mumbai to Seoul, from Tokyo to Bhutan, celebrations broke out across Asia. In Mumbai, the streets were alive with the sound of drums and the scent of incense. People gathered in public squares, singing and dancing, sharing in the joy of this historic moment. In Bangkok, the night sky was filled with glowing lanterns, each one a symbol of hope and celebration. In Seoul, crowds packed into public spaces, their faces alight with excitement as they witnessed the rise of a new figure in the Catholic Church, a figure that represented something bigger than just one man or one country. This was a victory for all of Asia. For many, it wasn't just about religion. It was about hope, unity, and the belief that together we could build a better world. This was a moment of pride for all Asians, a time to celebrate the strength and resilience of the continent. Cardinal Tagle's election as Pope was a shining example of Asia's growing influence on the world stage. It was a reminder that the world's power centers were shifting, and Asia was taking its place at the global table. The celebration continued to spread across the globe. World leaders from Washington to Moscow, from Beijing to Brasilia, sent their congratulations. They recognized that the Pope's voice would not just resonate within the Catholic Church, but would have an impact on the entire world. Even leaders of other faiths sent their warm wishes, acknowledging the Pope's potential to bring about positive change. This was a moment of unity, a moment where people from all backgrounds, religions, and cultures could come together and celebrate a new era of leadership. As Cardinal Tagle stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, the crowd erupted once again. The sea of people cheered and clapped, their hearts filled with hope and excitement for what was to come. The new Pope, now known as Pope Luis Antonio Tagle, raised his hand in a gesture of blessing. His first words were simple but profound. He spoke of humility, kindness, and the need to address the big challenges facing the world today. He promised to focus on the poor, the marginalized, and the forgotten. His message was clear. The Catholic Church needed to be a force for good. In the world, a beacon of hope for those who needed it most. People were already wondering what Pope Tagle's leadership would mean for the future of the Catholic Church. Would he live up to the expectations placed upon him? Would he be able to bring about the changes that so many were hoping for? The challenges ahead were many. The Catholic Church, like much of the world, was dealing with serious issues from the aftermath of abuse scandals to the declining number of people attending Mass. On the world stage, there were even bigger problems: climate change, poverty, political divisions, and conflicts that seemed to be tearing the world apart. The pressure on Pope Tagle was immense. How would he respond? What kind of leader would he be? People were eager to see whether he would be a bridge builder, someone who could unite different religious groups and create a culture of peace and understanding. There was hope that Pope Tagle would take bold action on global issues, particularly those affecting the poor and marginalized. His track record as a champion of social justice made many believe that he would be a pope who could make a real difference. In the days and months that followed, Pope Tagle's actions spoke louder than words. He wasted no time in visiting struggling neighborhoods, meeting with refugees, and offering support to those most in need. His commitment to fairness and equality was evident in everything he did. He didn't just talk about helping the poor, he showed up and did the work. His presence in these communities was a powerful symbol of the Church's commitment to standing with those who had been left behind by society. He wasn't just the Pope for Catholics, he was the Pope for everyone, regardless of their background or belief. Pope Tagle's leadership style was also marked by his willingness to engage in dialogue. In a world that often felt divided and fractured, he believed that honest conversations were the key to building understanding and unity. He didn't shy away from difficult discussions, whether it was with leaders of other faiths or addressing issues of social justice. Pope Tagle was always ready to listen, learn, and work together for the common good. As the months passed, it became clear that Pope Tagle was not just a spiritual leader, but a global advocate for justice and peace. His voice carried far beyond the walls of the Vatican, and his influence was felt across the world. His efforts to tackle issues like climate change, poverty, and human rights were just the beginning. There was a growing sense that Pope Tagle was leading